ready. You caught me jumping up and down for joy. Welcome to Circle. Super happy that you're here. Super happy to be here with you and with Magnus. We are broadcasting live from Austin, Texas. Just spent the weekend in San Francisco helping move the movement and feeling super excited about what we're up to on this planet right now and bringing people together to learn more about love and peace and being able to self-regulate, which is so much about what this work does. It helps us come back into our centers so that we can curate the experience that we would most like to be having and gifting the world with, because we have maintained our flow of love and we are coming through in a respectful and honoring way to our own nature and to those of the people around us. So thank you for taking the time to jump into Circle. I know that there's a lot going on in people's lives right now. I know that California is really, really suffering with all the fires that have been going on. And my heart goes out to all the people who are going through so much intensity right now in the world, and I think this circle is more needed than ever. So on that theme, we are going to be tapping on living through loss. So if there's something that you feel like you lost, or something that you feel like you are losing, whether that be a house or a relationship or a sense of purpose, whatever that is for you, this is going to be a way for you to help yourself process that feeling of loss and come back into the gift that is always on the other side of loss. So if you're here in Chatland with us, go ahead and say hello. I see Lily, happy to be here in Brooklyn. Hi, Lily. Sloan, I saw you in Oakland just this weekend. Really glad to give you a hug. Hi, Trish in Sydney, Australia. Angelise, happy day and hello. Golden Dragon in Portland. Celeste in Chico. Mateo in Austin. Really happy to see you all here. Did I say hi to Sarah Sweetgrass in Portland? I think I did. And I see more and more people showing up here by the second. All right, so as I said, the theme is living through loss. So whatever it is that you feel like you have lost or are losing or experiencing some sort of holding back the grief or the tears, there is a place for you to process that right now. And for those of you here in the chat, go ahead and put one word. How are you feeling right now? I'm interested to do a little temperature check in the room just to see where everybody's at. Not something that we normally do. We reserve the chat for check-ins, and we don't really chatter too much in there because mostly we're here to tap, right? But I am interested to see how you're all feeling. I hear Christina saying jealous. Sarah says tired. Lily says surprisingly wonderful and complete. I'm so happy to hear that. Sloan, spacey and tired. Dan says distracted. Celeste says dizzy from smoke. I hear you, Celeste. I was just there and I saw everyone walking around with face masks on. Angelise says low. Golden Dragon says, I feel weird. This topic is almost too perfect right now. Yeah, good. Well, you know, I don't make up these topics in advance. I actually go into meditation right before the circle and listen to who's coming and what they need. So if the topic feels synchronized to your life, it's probably because it is. Okay, lots of feelings. Ashley says overwhelmed. Person called myself. The topic is there in the top of the chat where it says theme with the little red heart, living through loss. Okay. Mateo says heavy. All right. Here we go. We are going to go into the core causes, a 5-minute live survey. You click the button that says Get Started when you see it pop up. If you're on a mobile device, scroll down, you'll see the button pop up. And we'll be back in 5 minutes with the topic of living through loss. Alright everyone, welcome back. So now we're going to begin tapping. Massaging the front of the chest, big deep breath. And relax. Big noisy sigh, just let it out. Let's try it again. Big breath. And sigh. Alright. Even though part of me feels like I've just lost what? What is it that you've just lost or you're afraid you're losing? I'm open to loving and expressing myself. This feeling of losing what? Go ahead and say what that is. Is it your home, your freedom, a person in your life? Tap the temples. This feeling of loss about, say it again. Tap the cheeks, and maybe there are many areas that you can use this video. The temptation is to try to do them all at once, and that's not very useful. So pick the one that's the most problematic for you right now, because that will bring you the greatest relief, and then you can do this video again on all of the other things one at a time. Tapping into the nose, this feeling of losing what? Tapping under the lips. I'm open to loving and accepting myself. Tapping the chest, even though there's a part of me that's still in shock. Tune in and see if there's any shock about this loss. Tapping the front of the ribs. This part of me. Tap the side of the ribs. I can still feel the shock of this. Tap the inside of the wrist. I'm open to loving and expressing myself, even though I feel really shocked. Tap the side of the thumb. I still can't believe this happened. Tap the index finger. And go ahead and modify these words to really fit your situation. So, I can't believe this happened, or I can't believe this is happening, whatever it is for you, okay? Tap the index finger. It's so hard for me to wrap my head around this. Tap the middle finger. It's so hard for me to wrap my head around this. I'm tapping the bottom of the fourth finger. I'm open to loving and supporting myself, even though there's a part of me that feels incapacitated. Tap the little finger. It's really hard to take care of myself right now. Tap this side of the hand. Really challenging to take care of me because of losing what? Tap the top of the head. I'm open to loving and accepting myself, even though I have all these feelings. Tapping the back of the head and the side of the head. It's so hard for me to deal with this. Tap the eyebrows. Part of me just checks out. Tap the temples. Part of me numbs out. Tap the cheeks. I'm open to loving and accepting myself. Tapping under the nose. Even if a part of me checks out. Tapping under the lips. And feels really heavy. Tapping the chest. I deeply and completely forgive myself for all this suppressed fear and trauma in my body around losing what? And tapping the front of the ribs. I deeply and completely respect myself, tapping the side of the rib cage, even though there's a part of me that cannot focus on this right now. It's too overwhelming. Tap the inside of the wrist. This feeling of overwhelm. Tap the side of the thumb. Really overwhelmed about this. Tap the index finger. I don't know what I'm going to do. Middle finger. I don't know what to do. I don't know what's going to happen. Tap the bottom of the fourth finger. There's a part of me that really wants to know what's going to happen next. Tap the little finger. I deeply and completely forgive myself, even though part of me's afraid, doesn't know what's going to happen next. Tap the side of the hand, feels overwhelmed, and wants to check out. Tapping the top of the head. Big sigh. I accept this confused feeling, this shocked and overwhelmed feeling. Tapping the back of the skull, tapping the eyebrows. Everything changes. Tap the temples, and this made a huge change. Tap the cheeks. I don't like this change. Tapping under the nose and breathing. I don't like this change. Tapping under the lips. A part of my life feels really sad right now. Tapping the chest. I'm open to loving and accepting myself, even if a part of my life feels really sad and difficult. Including this experience of, and then go ahead and say what your experience is that we're talking about right now. And breathe, tapping the front of the ribs. I deeply and completely accept myself. Tapping the side of the ribs. No matter how overwhelmed I am about losing what? Tap the inside of the wrist. It's safe for me to begin to process what's going on inside me. Tap the side of the thumb so I can regroup. Tap the index finger. Move through this whole new process that I'm in. Tap the middle finger and baby step myself through this. Tapping the bottom of the fourth finger. I accept the part of me that feels really, really scared. Tap the little finger. It's very hard for me to focus, very hard for me to know what's going to happen next. Tap the side of the hand. I love and support myself. Tap the top of the head. Even if a part of me feels overwhelmed, tapping the side of the head, the back of the head, tuning into what you're feeling right now about this issue. Maybe it's overwhelmed, maybe it's something else. So we're going to process 3 different feelings, one at a time. 3 strong emotions that you're experiencing around your issue. Feeling A, feeling B, and feeling C. So pause for a second and let's get a grip on what those 3 strong feelings are for you. Is it sadness, anger, fear? Is it grief, doubt, hatred? What's happening for you? What are the 3 strongest negative feelings? Okay, and we're just going to go with the first one that popped out of your mouth. So tap the eyebrows, that's going to be feeling A. Ready? This feeling of, and say that feeling, feeling A. Tapping the temples, say it again. This feeling of. And tapping the cheeks, this feeling of. Tapping under the nose. I'm open to loving and accepting myself. Tapping under the lips, even with this feeling of, and say what it is. And tapping the chest. I deeply and completely accept myself. Tapping the front of the ribs, even if I continue to hold this feeling in my body. Tapping the side of the ribs. Tune in and see where that feeling is impacting your body. Do you feel it in your stomach? Do You feel it in your heart. Big breath, tapping the inside of the wrist. This feeling of tapping your thumb. I'm open to loving and accepting myself, even with this intense feeling of, say feeling A again, in my, and then say where you feel that energy in your body, in your neck, in your throat. Tap the middle finger. It's safe for me to release this now and bring love to it. Tap the bottom of the fourth finger. This feeling is here, trying to protect me, trying to help me. Tap the little finger. This feeling is here. What is it trying to do for you? Is it trying to make you more careful? Is it trying to keep you from something bad happening? Tap the side of the hand. Is it trying to make sense out of things for you? Tapping the top of the head. I accept this remaining feeling of, and say feeling A as you tune into it again. See if you can still feel that feeling. And tap the eyebrows, and when you tune into it, I want you just to accept what's there with compassion, without judging it, allowing it to be natural and normal for this moment to have that feeling. Tap the cheeks. It's totally understandable that you would feel this way. Tapping under the nose. Let's say that out loud. It's totally understandable that I would feel this way. Tapping under the lips. I'm open to loving and accepting myself. Tapping the chest. Even if I continue to feel, and let's say feeling B. What's that second feeling that you mentioned? Tapping the front of the ribs. Part of me really feels, and then say that feeling again. Maybe it's angry. Maybe it's sad, whatever it is. We're going to process it. Tapping the side of the ribs. I've been feeling really what about this? Feeling B. Tapping the inside of the wrist. It's been hard to acknowledge this feeling of, say it again. Tapping your thumb. Hard for me to acknowledge this. Tap the index finger. It's been hard to slow down and take the time to feel. Tap the middle finger. I've been in survival mode. Tapping the bottom of the fourth finger. Part of me is stuck in survival mode right now. Tap your little finger. I love and respect myself, even though I'm just trying to survive. And tap this side of the hand. I deeply and completely accept myself, even with feeling B. Say what that is. Tap the top of the head, exactly as it is right now. And tapping the eyebrows. This remaining feeling of, say what feeling B is. And tap the temples that I feel where in the body. And tap the cheeks. It's safe for me to begin to acknowledge and process this. Tapping under the nose. Even if part of me shies away from the full experience. Tapping under the lips. I don't have to feel all of it right now. Tap the chest. I am aware that it's here. Tap the front of the ribs, tuning into that emotion again. Tapping the bottom of the rib cage, right down here. Big deep breath. This feeling of side of the ribs that I feel buried down where in your body? Is it in the pit of your stomach? Tap the inside of the wrist. I'm open to loving and expressing myself and acknowledging this intense feeling of what? And tap the side of the thumb and breathe. Good. Tap the index finger. It's okay for me to lighten up. Tap the middle finger. It's okay for me to lighten up, even though it feels so intense. Tap the bottom of the fourth finger. I'm creating a possibility of being able to handle what's happening. Tap the little finger. Figuring out what to do. Tap the side of the hand. Allowing myself to get the rest. Find the space I need to slowly come back to myself. Tap the top of the head. And move myself gently forward again. Even with this setback. Even with this feeling of loss. This intense experience is bringing up so much for me. Tap the eyebrows. Let's talk about the topic again. What is it that you're processing? I'm processing in this circle the experience of what? Tapping the temples. And all that it stirs up inside me. Tap your cheeks, tuning in again. What is it stirring up inside you? Tapping into the nose. Take 30 seconds. I want you just to blurt all of what is happening inside you for 30 seconds as you face this. Tapping the chest. Keep talking. And breathe. Tapping down to the front of the ribs. Now we're going to start processing feeling C, okay? Even though there's a part of me that's really struggling with what? The feeling of what? Is it panic? Is it sadness? Tap the side of the ribs. This feeling of, say the same feeling again. And breathe. And inside of the wrist, this remaining feeling of, say it one more time. Tap the side of the thumb. I'm open to loving and accepting myself. Tap the index finger. Even if a part of me continues to feel, say that feeling C again. Tapping the middle finger. And there's nothing I can do about it. Tap the bottom of the fourth finger. It feels like I'm just stuck feeling this or trying not to feel this. Tap the little finger. I really don't want to feel this way. Tap this side of the hand. I love and respect myself. Tap the top of the head. I forgive myself for holding on to these feelings because I've been too busy trying to survive and figure out what's next to make sense of the situation at all. Tap the eyebrows. I'm loving and expressing myself even if a part of me continues to feel, and say feeling C again. Tapping under the nose and all this energy in my body. Tapping under the lips. It's safe for me to process what's happening inside me now. I'm tapping down to the chest. Even though it's really intense, tap the front of the ribs. And I don't like it. Tap the side of the ribs. I don't like feeling these things. Tap the inside of the wrist. It's really hard for me to accept this situation. It's such a huge change. Tap the side of the thumb. I can't accept this situation. Tap the index finger. It's impossible for me to really accept this. As a matter of fact, I'm not going to accept this. Ha! Tap your middle finger. I'm not accepting this reality. No. No. Okay? Let's have a slug fight with reality for a minute, okay? I'm not accepting this reality in my life. Tap the little finger. And no one's going to make me. Tap the side of the hand. Part of me wants to ignore that this happened. Or I'm ignoring that this is happening. Tapping the top of the head. I love and respect myself. Even though a part of me just wants to deny and numb myself and run away from this. Tapping the back of the head. Okay, stomp your feet up and down. I'm running away. There are my feet. Here they go. I'm running. Tap the eyebrows. I love and accept myself. Tap the temples, even though part of me wants to run away for good reason. Big breath. Tapping the cheeks. Tapping into the nose. Because if I faced the reality of this, what would happen? What terrible thing do you think would happen to you if you turned around and just faced this head on? And tap the chest. I'm afraid it would, what? Overwhelm me? Or that I wouldn't be able to deal with it? Tapping the front of the ribs. I'm afraid that I would have to do what? What would you have to do if you were to really accept the situation as it is? Tap the side of the ribs. I'm open to loving and accepting myself. Tap the inside of the wrist, even if a part of me doesn't want to face this. Tap the side of the thumb. Wants to run away. Tap the index finger. I'm giving myself the opportunity to realign myself patiently and lovingly again and again. Tap the middle finger. Dealing with one fear at a time. Tap the bottom of the fourth finger. I'm tapping my way through this. Including the fear of what? What's a big fear involved in this? Is it that you're never going to have this in your life again? Tap the little finger. Or that if you do have it, it'll never be as good as it was. Tap the side of the hand. I'm open to loving and accepting myself. Tap the top of the head. Even if a part of me's afraid of. Go ahead, blurt it out. What's the big fear here? Tap the eyebrows. It's safe for me to heal this incredible fear. Tap the cheeks. That tells me what? Name that fear one more time. Let's say it out loud. And tapping under the lips. I love and respect myself. Tap the chest. Even if a part of me stays afraid. Tapping the front of the ribs. It's okay that I'm afraid. Tap the side of the ribs. And it's okay if I want to continue to imagine, say the scary thing that might happen. Tapping the inside of the wrist. Part of me wants to imagine that to prevent it from happening. Right? Tap the side of the thumb. As if imagining the worst case scenario is going to protect you or prepare you for it, right? Tap the index finger. I love and respect myself. Tap the middle finger, even if I'm trying to protect or prevent this from happening. Tap the bottom of the fourth finger. Let's see if it really is helping to keep it from happening. Tap the little finger, or is it possibly bringing it closer to you because that's what you're meditating on with all your emotion? Tap the side of the hand. I want to be prepared. I want to protect my heart. Tap the top of the head. I'm releasing the need to believe, what's this negative thought again? And meditate on that idea like it's the truth. I don't know if it's the truth. Tap the eyebrows. Maybe that will happen. Tap the temples. Maybe that will happen. Tap the cheeks. And maybe it won't happen. Tapping under the nose. I'm allowing myself to prepare myself by being stable and calm. Tap the chest. As clear and connected to myself as I can be. So let's imagine that state. If you were able to be stable and calm, no matter what life was throwing at you right now, that you're like, okay, here it is. Do you think you'd be more prepared and actually more protected internally from that stance of being very grounded in yourself, as calm as you could be? Tap the front of the ribs. It's possible I'm preparing myself by processing this right now. Tap the side of the ribs. That this is how I protect myself. This is how I protect my health, by processing this pent-up stress. Tap the inside of the wrist. This is how I protect my relationships, by processing this pent-up anxiety or anger. Tap the side of the thumb. Big deep breath. Tap the index finger. What would be more useful for you if you were going to choose a new belief that wasn't the old negative belief, but was the opposite? Something like, I'm open to the possibility that something amazing is going to rise from the ashes. Tap the middle finger. That my life is going to not only recover from this loss, but somehow, in some bizarre way, be strengthened and maybe even improved. Tap the bottom of the fourth finger. I'm creating the possibility that even though I don't know how that it's going to happen, that something is coming to give me more than what I thought I needed. Tap the side of the hand. Something beautiful and new is coming from this loss. Tap the top of the head. Something really important is coming from the ashes of this fire. Tap the eyebrows. Tap the temples. I'm creating the possibility for emotional, mental, and financial resiliency. Tap the cheeks. Tapping under the nose. It's possible that this loss, tapping under the lips, will somehow, in some way, be a gain. Tap the chest. How is that possible for this loss to actually turn out to be a kind of a gain for me? Tap the front of the ribs. So you probably already have an idea of something that is coming out of this that you wouldn't have had this not happened. What is one positive thing that's coming out of this already? If you want to put that in the chat, you can. If you just want to say it out loud, go ahead and say that one word. I'm gaining what? Tapping inside of the wrist. And tapping the thumb. I'm allowing myself to experience that I'm actually gaining a little bit more what? Connection. You're gaining the awareness that you are worthy of love and support as you're having to learn to reach out or open up. Gaining traction and grounding with more work. Team Les says, I'm gaining freedom. What are you gaining? Tap the middle finger. It's possible that had this not occurred, I might have stayed stuck in some way. Tap the bottom of the fourth finger. And that even though part of me is reeling from the loss, tap the little finger, another part of me is gaining strength. Tap the side of the hand. And resiliency. tapping the top of the head, opening up my possibilities for more creativity and expansion. Tapping the back of the head, allowing me to go into a state of trust. Tap the eyebrows, allowing me to be able to do what I need to do. Tapping the temples. And tapping the cheeks. I love and respect myself. Tapping under the nose. It's safe for me to do what I need to do next. Tapping under the lips. Even while things are still a little chaotic, tap the chest. I'm allowing myself to process what's happening in my life right now, which is, let's say, the theme that you're working on. Okay, we're going to take a little pause here and do a check-in. How are you feeling now compared to when you first sat down to tap with me? On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most emotionally intense, where are you now on that scale in regards to your issue as a whole? And if you're watching this on replay, you're just tapping and feeling into that, because every time you check in, those neural networks responsible for the memory and the way you're processing this experience have an opportunity to change if they meet loving attention. So that's why we pause and check in. So a person called myself has gone from a 10 to a 3, which is incredible. Angeles, you're halfway there. You're 8 to a 4. Sloan, a 10 to a minus maybe. Mateo, a 9 to a 4, partially there. That's good. Golden Dragon, a 6, defrosting to an 8. Sloan, a 10 to an 8.5. Sarah Sweetgrass, a 7 to a 0. Thank you. Sonya, heart, heart, heart. Lily, a 6 to a 5. Did some defrosting. Okay, good. So we're going to keep moving. Here we go. Even though there is still what? What's really here that we have not talked about yet? Is it a physical sensation? Is it a fear? Is it a thought? What's really important to say right now? Tap the eyebrows. Say it again, tapping the temples. It's really important for me to acknowledge what? Tapping the cheeks. Tapping under the nose. I'm open to loving and accepting myself. Tapping under the lips, even though there's still this big piece of what? Tapping the front of the ribs. I love and respect myself. Tap the side of the ribs. I accept the part of me that still has to deal with this. Tap the inside of the wrist. I don't want to deal with it. Tap the side of the thumb. I don't have time to deal with this right now. Tap the index finger. It's really uncomfortable. Tap the middle finger. I love and respect myself. Tap the bottom of the fourth finger. Even though there's this piece that's still really up for me. Tap the little finger. Say what it is. Tap the side of the hand. This loss in my life reminds me of the loss of what? So was there another loss that is before this loss that this kind of piggybacked on that makes the impact of this loss that much more difficult to deal with? Tapping the top of the head. I'm allowing myself to process the earlier loss along with this. Tap the eyebrows. Let's talk for 2 minutes about that earlier loss or that fear of loss that came earlier that this one is also triggering. Tapping under the nose. Keep going. 30 more seconds. Go ahead and discuss what this reminds you of. Tapping the chest and breathe. Tap the front of the ribs. And how did that loss or that earlier experience impact you? Did it shut you down? Did it drive you crazy for a while? Did it drive you to make some bad decisions? Or did you physically break down? I responded to this earlier loss by doing what? Tap the side of the thumb, which left this process incomplete. Tap the index finger because I didn't have the resources I needed. Tap the middle finger, but I do now. I'm giving myself permission to tap through the trauma that's been re-stimulated. Tap the bottom of the fourth finger. This trauma that's been stimulated to come back up from this earlier loss. Tap the little finger. I give myself permission to heal what happened that's impacting the experience I'm having now. Tap the top of the head, including what? Tapping the sides of the head, the back of the head, giving myself permission. Tapping the temples. Big deep breath. And the cheeks to heal what happened back then. Tapping under the nose. I didn't have words for what was going on. Tapping under the lips. I did not get the love and help that I needed. Tapping the chest. Nobody took the time to support me, to believe me, to hear what was happening inside me. Tapping the front of the ribs. I'm taking the time to acknowledge what happened. Tap the side of the ribs, which gives me energy to process what's happening right now. Tap the inside of the wrist. Tuning into that original sense of loss one more time. Giving myself the attention and love that was missing. So sending some love. Just take a deep breath. I'm going to close your eyes for a second. Going back to that earlier time that we were just talking about. See if you can picture yourself at that time. What is that version of you doing? And tap your index finger, keeping your eyes closed. I want you to take your present day self and go to that younger version of you and see if they'll let you sit down next to them or put your arms around them or pick them up and take them out of that place. Say, I'm going to be with you and I'm inviting you to come with me. Tap the middle finger. And tell them, I'm sorry that I didn't find you earlier. And that you had to struggle all alone. Tap the bottom of the fourth finger. I know it felt so overwhelming, you might have thought you were going to die. Tapping the little finger. You have my strength and my love now to support you. Tell that younger version, you have my strength and my love to support you. Tap the side of the hand, and we're going to get through this together. Tap the top of the head. I want you to know that you do end up surviving. Tap the top of the head. I want you to know that you become a stronger and better person, even though it feels like this is way too much to deal with. Tap the eyebrows. And ask them what they need right now and see if you can give that to them. Tapping the cheek. Ask them if there was anything else that they need to express. What do they need to have acknowledged? Do they need to hear that it wasn't their fault? Do they need to hear that it actually turns out to be such an important thing that it changes the direction of their life in a way that has a positive impact? Tap the front of the ribs. Tell that little one whatever it is that they need to hear right now. Tap the side of the ribs. Now take them by the hand or scoop them up in your arms and take them with you. Take them here into the present moment. And let them sit here beside you, or take them straight into your heart and let them have a place to be where that they feel safe and protected and loved, and they're in 2018 with resources. They're here saying, wow, I have technology that helps me process right here at my fingertips. I'm not alone. I'm with a whole group of people that are loving and wise and helpful. Tap the index finger, and we're doing this together. Tap the middle finger. I want you to see if you can feel that strength from that younger version of you coming into your present time self. Do you feel that resiliency, that beautiful strength, and that creativity? Tap the bottom of the fourth finger. And let them become your ally to the present difficulty that you're facing. Ask them for help. Say, can you support me in dealing with this? And then say what it is that you're dealing with. Tap the little finger. What is it that they add to the mix? Do they add joy? Do they add trust? Do they add the reminder to take time to play and laugh, even though it's so intense that you find ways to laugh and dance? That they help you find ways to be of service. You know, in times of a crisis, one of the best ways to heal it is to be of service to other people. And somehow starting that flow of giving creates the flow of receiving back to you when you need it the most. Sometimes it's really good to go and give it to others. Tap the eyebrows. I'm allowing myself to generate this field of generosity and support. Tap the cheeks, allowing myself to receive and to give. Tapping into the nose. I'm allowing myself to dance through this fire. Tapping under the lips. To feel safe and connected to love itself. Tapping the chest. Allowing myself to feel this resiliency inside my body. Tap the front of the ribs. I'm allowing this to be easier than I thought. Tap the side of the ribs, and I'm willing to keep processing whatever comes up. So make that commitment to yourself right now, tapping the inside of the wrist as we're down to our last 5 minutes. What would it be like if you said, you know what, I can stop, drop, and tap 20 minutes a day, 15 minutes a day, 5 minutes a day. Whenever I'm starting to feel tight, whenever I'm starting to feel scared, whenever I'm starting to doubt, I can grab this energy that I'm now pushing into the world with my fear and say, hang on, you're looking for love. I'm going to give you some love. And watch what happens. We're not telling that energy to change. We're not telling that part of you that it's not valid. We're not telling that part of you to shut up. We're telling that part of you, you're looking for love. I'm going to give you some loving attention right now. And watch how it shifts your attitude. Watch how it shifts your personality. Tap the little finger for you to stop and get real with yourself. or to jump into the video library, because you've got hundreds of tapping videos here on all different subjects. You can just go random and see what happens. You're going to get a good session out of it if you'll get in there and do the work. You're going to come out shiny and clear, more bright and stable, more aligned with who you are and what you're doing, and more capable of doing it. So tapping the top of the head, I'm committing to what? And make it a commitment that you can actually do. I'm committed to doing extra tapping during the week, giving myself a moment to process, being able to keep my peace, even in the midst of this storm. Tapping under the lips, allowing myself to take the time to slow down, to be honest with myself, where I feel like I'm losing my control, where I feel like I've lost power. Tap the front of the ribs, coming back into my center. Tap the side of the ribs so that I can navigate my way moment by moment through this transition. Tapping in the inside of the wrist, I'm navigating this transition moment by moment with my love. Tap this side of the thumb, allowing this to be easier than I thought possible. That seems strange, right? That loss could be easy. It almost seems disrespectful. But is it disrespectful to decide that you are going to do this in a light-hearted, loving way? I don't think so. I think it's okay to deal with pain with tenderness and kindness and sweetness. We actually need that light, kind, beautiful, soft energy right now, especially when you feel heavy. Tap the bottom of the fourth finger. I'm giving myself the possibility of being really gentle with myself. Tap the little finger. Kind to myself. Tap the chest and telling myself what? What do you need to hear on the daily? I need to hear that I'm going to be okay. I need to hear that somehow it's going to all work out. I need to hear that I'm safe. I need to hear that I'm loved and respected. I need to hear what? Tapping all over the body, say those loving statements one more time with some enthusiasm. Put your own name in there. So you would say your name and then, I love you, I trust you, you're doing it. Okay, last call for checking in. Notice how you're feeling now. And go ahead and put that in the chat. What's happening for you? I want to remind you that sometimes you need more than 1 hour. And in that case, please don't just sit there with a partial. Go into the video library, worldtappingcircle.com, and do a mini tap. Do a quick tap. There are 15, 20-minute taps in there. Scroll past the front of the video where we do the core causes and get right to the tap on any subject. Give yourself an extra 20, 30 minutes and see how much of a difference you can make with a little bit more attention. Trish from a 9 to a 1. Sloan, you got halfway down. I'm going to be okay from a 10. Wow. Myself, a 10 to a 1. Beautiful. I'm super excited for all of you. Angeli's an 8 to a 1. Look at how quickly you process in 1 hour. That's amazing. I see hearts from Mateo. Golden Dragon, really happy to see you here. Sal, really happy to see you here. All right, sweethearts. I am here for you. The circle's here for you. We are working on updating our website and our whole user experience. And we've just got some funding coming in to do that. So watch what happens in January. It's going to be a more elegant and beautiful experience. and something that I think you're going to want to bring other people to come see as well. So thank you for your love and your attention, and we will see you in the circle soon.